Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Laura and today I wanted to run through with you guys our plan for having a baby in Germany as New Zealanders who moved here very, very recently. So we absolutely moved whilst pregnant. We actually moved when I was about 27, 28-ish weeks. So it's sort of it was a good time for us in the sense that we were able to keep working in New Zealand, earning money, and then move before we were kind of in a stage where baby could come at any time. I will say that the move over was a little bit nerve-wracking because you basically cannot get like travel insurance to cover the whole birth baby situation. I think that you can get it to cover from like 20 to 24 weeks and like that's it. That's like the standard period because prior to that the risk of miscarriage is so high they don't want to cover that, and then after that the risk of premature birth, so anything from 24 weeks is actually not considered a miscarriage. So if you lost the baby at 25 weeks, for example, that's considered a stillbirth rather than a miscarriage, right? And then of course the costs associated with that would just be astronomical. Anyway, that was super fun. So we traveled without any insurance. We did go via the States, which was slightly nerve-wracking, but we were there for a very short amount of time, which is great. So we didn't go bankrupt accidentally having our baby super early in the States. So now we're in Germany. What is our plan here? Let's talk about it. Alrighty, so I am going to be referring to notes on my phone because pregnancy brain. But when we first found out, well, when we were first trying to get pregnant, our preference for birth in New Zealand would have been in a birth centre because I feel generally like my body works well with less interventions and when I can just kind of work with my body to do what it needs to do. And so for me, the best way to do that in New Zealand would have been in a birth centre. When coming to Germany, because I knew that I'd be coming kind of late in the game, it's not as if I was going to be setting myself up with like a lead maternity care provider at like 8 weeks or something. It was going to be much later than that. I knew that I had to be open to kind of whatever I could get, you know, and I was comfortable with that, and we were comfortable with that, wherever we kind of ended up in the system, we knew that it was going to be like decent outcomes and that it was going to be well-trained people using evidence-based practices. So we were going to be happy with that. And we knew that, you know, we needed to be open to all of that. However, the first midwife that we contacted, who was also one specifically who spoke English, happens to be at a really lovely birth centre here in Hanover. So we are actually going to be giving birth in a birth centre. That is the plan, which is really exciting. Now for birth at the birth centre, that is from 37 weeks. So if I were to go into active labour prior to 37 weeks, so that's prior to baby being considered like term, like ready, then we would have to go to a hospital because it's then higher risk. So we are also signed up with a hospital as a backup for that, which is really good to know. And it's good to know that if something did happen prior to that, we know what we are doing with that and we do have something in place. I am like trying to sit comfortably, but at this stage, at like 34 weeks, baby is either like in my bladder or like in my rib here. Right now, baby is in my rib. So if I keep adjusting, that is why. With being signed up with the hospital, that also then means that if we needed to be transferred and it was like a non-emergency, which most of the time it is non-emergency, then that is where we would go. And if it was a true emergency, then we would be going to the nearest hospital that could take us, basically. In terms of the general care, it's pretty similar between New Zealand and Germany. So New Zealand, everything is generally very midwife-led. You can go with an obstetrician, so obstetrician/gynecologist, right? Who's like a proper doctor who's qualified to do this stuff, but most of the care in New Zealand is provided by a midwife, right? And in Germany, it's the same. It's generally very midwife-led. I think a lot of people still sign up with an OBGYN, so an obstetrics/gynecologist. But for us, we just don't really feel like it's necessary. I have a low risk, low complication pregnancy. Everything's gone really well so far. we're not planning on needing that kind of support. And if it did come to that, then we would deal with it at the time. So we are just with midwife support. The other cool thing about the birth center is that because they don't know exactly what's going to be happening, we have our main midwife, but we've also met with another midwife who speaks English, and we'll also be meeting with another one who's a bit more experienced, who I think she does speak English, but she speaks more German, and I think she's going to be challenging us to speak more German. I think it's fine though in terms of the level of language, where when they're saying stuff to me in German, I can basically understand it. It's just hard for me to respond in German. And then same the other way around. Like they absolutely understand what I'm saying in English. It's maybe just hard to respond sometimes. But I'm feeling pretty good about the language situation overall. Because it is still very similar midwife-led stuff, the care that we will receive and the care that the baby will receive is pretty similar between Australia and New Zealand. You know, there's at-home checkups of baby and all of that. I think that actually in Germany, the midwives are a bit more educated, so they can provide more of like the like breastfeeding support, whereas I think in New Zealand you need to see more of a separate like lactation consultant like it is in the States, I think, as well. Whereas I think here they try and train the midwives to be able to do more of that, which is really, really cool. And it means that it's more of a one-stop shop. We don't have to like organize to see different people for different kinds of support. We can get more of that from our midwife, which is going to be awesome. The other cute thing is because we're in like a smaller city, like Hanover is 500,000 people, we don't have a car. Our midwife doesn't have a car. So our midwife rides around on her bike to get places. So it's fully like call the midwife, which is so adorable. Now, because we moved to Germany on the Chancenkarte visa, which is the opportunity card, for our health insurance, we are on like private expat health insurance. So it covers the basics so that you wouldn't be left here with like a massive bill or left without the proper support. But it does mean that for the extra stuff, which includes having a baby, we are paying out of pocket for that. So we will still be on the same plan that everyone else is on. Like we have the same Mutter Pass, which is like your little booklet that has all of your birth information on it. I'll just go grab that to show you guys. Okay, so here it is. This is the famous Mutter Pass. So that just has all of your information. You need to carry this around with you wherever you are in Germany. So if something were to happen, they're like, oh my gosh, she's pregnant. We need to know what's going on. So anyway, I'm okay at taking this with me. But yeah, we're on the same plan that any other women giving birth in Germany would be on. It just means that we have to pay out of pocket rather than that bill going to our health insurance provider, which is fine. And again, we planned for that, and the cost for paying out of pocket in Germany is nowhere near what it would be in some other countries. And we planned for this. So that is going to be all good. So that is our plan for how we're going to navigate having a kid here in Germany as expats. We've also signed up with a Kinderarzt, so a baby doctor. So yeah, it's all coming together. I think the next step is getting into a house so we can actually get set up. This is our third Airbnb that we've been in since arriving. And yeah, it's coming up soon when we're actually going to be in our place that we're going to be in for when we have the baby and when the baby's up to about 4 or 5 months old at least. So we are really, really excited for that. That is the next step in my like birth preparation for this, and I'm just going to be so happy when we can get set up with that, and then maybe I can sort myself a more comfortable sitting situation. Oh. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope that this answered any kind of questions you might have had about how we're managing to do all of this with having a baby in a different country only a few months after we've arrived. Please do let me know if you have any questions. Please pop those down below. I'll do my best to answer that, and look out for more of my videos as I talk about why we are here in Germany, how it's going for us, and all of that. So thank you guys so much, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.